Hey everyone, it's Sensei Victoria Whitfield here, your journey partner in business, welcoming you back to episode 73 of the Journeypreneur Podcast. This is your source for channeled holistic stress management techniques, guidance, inspiration, and motivation to stay on your path to rapid financial ascension and massive impact as a conscious entrepreneur. And the title of this podcast episode is, It Doesn't Matter How You Feel. How you feel does not matter. Now, if you've been following my work for any amount of time, you may know that my number one mantra, the thing that I say the most with all of my clients or anytime that I'm teaching or out speaking, any of the blog posts that I've written, videos that I've shot, right, or when I'm live on Facebook or any platform where if I'm sitting across from you at a retreat or one of your private sessions, the one thing I'm saying over and over and over and over and over again is what matters most is how you feel. But my spirit guides inspired me today. They called me to talk about the opposite of that mantra to really help us understand why do we care? Why do we care? Because the opposite of how you feel does not, like that being how you feel does not matter. This is a very popular outlook, right? And it's, having that sort of a get it done mindset or, the being a servant leader, how you feel like you might be going through a challenge, stuff might be, really difficult for you right now, but you got to get out there and serve your people. Forget how you feel. Like it's all about contribution. And on one side, that's actually really beautiful. So I want to honor this opposing mindset that how you feel doesn't matter, that implying that other people's feelings are very important, right? For the person who is not naturally aware of other people's feelings, this sort of mindset of how you feel doesn't matter, that can really help you or them become more compassionate, become a better listener, and yes, indeed, even become a better partner. If you naturally are just not that sensitive to others' feelings or what's going on around you. So I want to honor that and that stoic mindset of, listen, you're worried about X, Y, and Z, but this is the thing that needs to happen. So all feelings aside, move forward from a feelingless state, right? To really help you be a better, more grounded, decisive individual. Okay. And I want to share with you in this podcast episode some more of my own experiences where this mindset has actually gotten me into some of the worst experiences of my life, right? Being put into the hospital or losing wonderful relationships, or even as put me in serious danger, right? Physical danger, sexual danger, even. Taking the mindset of how I feel does not matter. And the reason why that's happened is because instead of thinking of how I feel doesn't matter in being able to serve others from a full cup, I was taking that type of a mindset from an empty cup. What does that mean? So what I mean by that is there's a pattern in me, and I'm just going to own this, take it or leave it, that I can tend towards codependency. As a child, I personally grew up with parents with really big personalities. There was some alcohol use. There was some emotional imbalances. So because of that, in order to cope with the environment that I was in, I learned to caretake. And this is one of the symptoms of being a codependent, is that instead of taking care of yourself, in order to have a sense of control over your environment, or I'll put it on me, in order for me to have a sense of control over this unstable environment that I was in at the time, I would caretake others or people please others, or I'd put myself down, make myself as small and invisible as possible. And it wasn't like a temporary thing. The mindset that I was carrying at the time of, this is who I am nothing, or I live to please these other really unstable forces, or the only feelings that I have, I'm not even connected to, because the feelings that others are having are so much bigger and so much more important that I have no connection to my own. So I had really bad self-esteem. And so what would happen was, you could ask me, well, Victoria, what do you want to eat tonight? And I would always automatically say, well, what do you want? I don't know. What do you want? And it's that, may seem like something really small, but is a sign of something much greater and insidious, where I genuinely had no preferences of my own. It was coming from an emptiness. And that feeling of emptiness, I have to say, is not good. This is not a firm foundation for being a servant leader, serving from a space of emptiness or low self-esteem or a lack of boundaries, right? Feeling like I have no self-respect for myself, showing up to serve from that is super duper toxic. And it enables all of the intense, chaotic, unstable environment that was around me. So the real problem with coming from a codependent pattern as an entrepreneur then is that I'm showing up trying to fill the big empty, right? The big empty cup with other people's problems, other people's projects, other people's energy, other people's feelings, defining my own point of view according to how they feel. So although it's very popular to say, suck it up, forget how you feel, push forward, grind, make sure that, you don't think about it, don't feel about it, don't go into whatever you're feeling, just get out there and serve people, or just get out there and market, right? Or just get out there and do whatever the operative is. The problem becomes that, okay, where are we coming from when we're serving? Where was I coming from showing up that way? And it was coming from a really big empty. I was extremely poor also in communicating what my needs were, because I just was not connected to them. And here's what happens when you're coming from the space of emptiness. Or here's what happened to me, at least, when I had the mindset as a codependent person who's highly sensitized, like mortally sensitized to how other people feel. What happens is I exchange my health, and this is something that, by the way, I have to remain conscious of for the rest of my life. I'm not perfect at this, but I exchange my health in order for others' approval. I would exchange my health in order to receive money in the bank, right? I would exchange my health in order to receive attention. this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. I don't know who this podcast episode is for, but I want to put my stake in the ground and reiterate that what matters most is how you feel. Because here's the thing. When I was attacked, I ignored all of the signs. I ignored all of the signs that I got that this person is unstable. This person is not making decisions in your best interest. This person is really aggressive. I ignored all of the signs, right? All of the little intuitive, instinctive feelings that if I was listening to myself, I would have picked up on that, right? That put me in serious physical danger. So maybe this is something that's happened to you in the past. If so, I'm sending you so much love and hugs and white light and energy healing if this is something that happened to you as well. But at the time, I remember my relationship with how I felt was my feelings are generally bad and unproductive. So here's my relationship with my feelings. I have to make sure I stuff them in order to remain, let's say, acceptable to others, or in order to remain super productive or to achieve my goals and all that stuff. I've got to be numb. So let's get into this. I'll put it out there. The ways that I would numb myself were through smoking, different things, cigarettes as well as other substances, through drinking alcohol, right? I'll just have let me have my rum and Coke, to just unwind at the end of the day, or let me have a glass of wine with the girlfriends, to just unwind, right? Or to numb out, or let me actually have a shot before I go with this person or go to this event so that I'm in the mood, right? Numbing. Other ways that I would numb is also with food, mistaking eating food as a way to love myself or to reward myself or to acknowledge myself or to feel filled, rather than, I'm using these things rather than having the maturity of communication to ask for what I want, or to have the respect and self-love to ask for my needs to be met, or to make sure that my needs were being met as well as the other person's who I cared about for whatever reason. Other things that I would numb out my feelings, right? Because remember, my feelings at the time, I believed, were bad and therefore unproductive, and so needed to be controlled or managed. Another way that I would do that is stuffing myself with work and tasks, taking on other people's responsibilities, or taking on more and more and more and more onto my plate than ever, so that I didn't have to deal with the bad feelings that I had, right? Because bad feelings are unproductive. Or being angry is, I'm was born female, so it's unladylike was one of the things that I was taught, that being angry is unladylike, or that's not nice, or that's not spiritual, and all that types of stuff. And, I don't know if you're male, female, gender fluid, whatever, but I'm sure you also have had your own experiences of being taught how your feelings don't matter. If only just for today, as we say in Reiki, just for today, please know that what matters most is how you feel. And I want to get more into that in the next podcast episode. But I wanted to begin to lay the foundation of denying your feelings is not being stoic. Denying the truth of what's going on for you, or how you're relating to your experience, denying that is not being responsible. Like, let's not confuse being productive with being numb. Let's not confuse being generous and giving and having a servant's heart with self-silencing, self-shaming, or emotional disconnect. Like, whether you're male or female or whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your feelings matter. Whether you're a husband or a wife, whether you're a father or a mother, whether you're a son or a daughter, whether you are the owner of the company or the co-partner, or whether you're the team member or the client, doesn't, like, your feelings, how you feel really does matter most. Now, there's more to that saying than just like everybody needs to be politically correct when we talk. Fuck that. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Also, I'm not saying that you should just splatter everybody with your feelings. That's a different form of being irresponsible and immature. And I'll go a little bit more into that in the next episode. But I just was so fired up and inspired on this topic of, especially for us as entrepreneurs and business owners, we tend to take, I'll put it on me, you know, set aside the fact of how I've met thousands of entrepreneurs personally, heard hundreds of their personal stories, worked with hundreds of them and seen them over the years, and and I'm basically obsessed with the entrepreneurial condition, as well as come from an entire family of entrepreneurs. Let's set all of that aside. All of that data aside, right? Well, put it on me. I have this thing, and it's a pattern that I have to deal with. This is a journey partner and a training partner with me for the whole journey. I have this thing where I get into the zone and I forget my health, or I'll forget my worth, or I'll forget what my values are. I'll forget because I'm so focused on execution or productivity and following through, and trying to be that good student, that A+ student, getting that be the achiever. I will forget my health, and I'll be up all night coding something, or forgetting to eat the good food, but reaching for the faster or the convenient foods, ones that are just like a quick fix versus the ones that are really fueling my light and my magnificence, right? My choices, unfortunately, around prioritizing my health go down when my productivity goes up. This personally, for me, Sensei Victoria Whitfield, is a lifelong journey partner. And for those of you who are listening in as journeypreneurs, meaning you are entrepreneurs who are in this for the infinite game. You're in this to play the long haul, right? Because you're called to a higher purpose that involves you being on the path to rapid financial ascension and massive impact. We've got to talk about some of the things that come up on this journey that are not so good, that are really painful. And I can't say that every podcast episode is going to be full of tips and like techniques and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm just going to turn to the side as we're walking on this journeying path together in business and be like, dude, this is something else. But at least we're turning to one another, looking in the eye and saying, sis, I see you. Yeah, because doing this together is so much better. So this is where I'm going to leave off for this podcast episode. But I'm curious, is this something that you have as a journey partner too? Right? A pattern of codependency or self-sabotage as an entrepreneur. And if so, are you conscious of it? Maybe Maybe this was the podcast episode that was to bring it to the forefront. For whatever reason, you saw the title, How You Feel Does Not Matter, and it spoke to you. If that's so, go ahead, look us up on iTunes, type in Journeypreneur Podcast, and hit that 5-star review button. Type in the comments section there. Let me know what spoke to you. What did you realize? What do you want to own in your own journey as a conscious entrepreneur? And for what it's worth, I want you to know that I see you, I love you, and I'm sending you so much positive energy and encouragement. Do not let this pattern of numbing yourself in order to be effective get the best of you. Like, stay conscious of it. You do not have to be numb in order to be successful. In fact, you can be sober, clear, open, sexy, soulful, spirited, right? Bright and sprightly and successful. You can be your whole and complete self. You do not have to turn down your light in order to be effective. And I'm saying that to you and, quite frankly, to myself. Right there with you. Mwah. So with that being said, I'm going to end the podcast episode here for today. And as always, please remember to enjoy the journey. You do not have to lose your glow as you grow your life and business. And I'll see you in the next podcast episode. Bye for now.